Hi everyone, my name is Rohan. Good evening. And today I just wanted to make a video on the financial analysis of Saregama Limited. So we were given the task of analyzing the financials of Saregama, and we were given this balance sheet for the past 8-9 years, and we were asked to analyze the balance sheet and draw some inferences from them. So even I had started with the financial figures, and I started analyzing and like the growth ratios and the growth rate compared to some other rate and stuff. And at the end of the day, even though I had a lot of data and I had a lot of colors and stuff, but at the end of the day, it was really messy. So then we had the class, and even though I had the kind of figured out a few things, but I wasn't really sure how these figures were affecting the financials, to be really honest. So in class, we were told that we should ideally focus on the annual report aspect of the. So let me just open the annual report. So we were told that we should ideally start from the annual report and then come back to the financials. So as you can see, this is the annual report, and also there are these annual report, quarterly reports, corporate presentations, which are available on Saregama's website, which I referred to, and I went through them and I kind of tried to figure out what was going on in the financials. And based on that, I made some analysis further. So let me come to the presentation. So here we go. So fundamental analysis of Saregama. So this were a few financial charts were given in the reports that were presented by the board, and they had shown these revenue from operations and stuff. So since we went through these in class, I'm just going through quickly go through them and kind of discuss these. So as you can see, the revenue from operation has declined over the period from 1920 and 21. It has been declining due to COVID, but the music licensing revenue has increased significantly, even though there is some one-time charges that have been uh, one-time revenues that have been uh, received. Something odd that can be seen from here is that even though the revenue is declining or in a declining phase, the uh, profit after tax is increasing. So you can see this is generally not the case, but I later on, while digging deep into the financials, I realized that this is basically because of cost reduction and not because of the revenue that the profit after tax was increasing. So in a similar fashion, because PAT is increasing, your EPS will increase because there has been no fresh issue of shares, so the number of shares are the same. So the EPS is in the same symmetrical fashion as PAT. Debt equity ratio, they've said that the debt is nil. So in the financial year 2021, they have paid off all their debt, and now the uh, company is unlevered. Return on equity is also similar on similar lines to the PAT, and there has been an increase because once you pay off the debt, even though they had really little debt to begin with, once you pay off your debt, the firm becomes unlevered, and then it helps boost your ROE. So you can see it's symmetric to your PAT. So there's nothing special over here. Book value is increasing because your reserves are increasing, and there's no real uh, increase in share capital, but the book value is increasing because of the reserves and surpluses. And dividend per share, so this is something new that has happened this year. Till last year they would only give about 1.5 to 3 rupees per share, but now they had given 20 rupees per share, which is a departure from earlier practice. So just to summarize, the revenue has declined and the music license has grown. Um, the PAT has, however, increased despite the reduction in revenue, which is mainly due to the reduction in the costs. The company is now debt free, which has thus the return on equity and EPS has increased since there's no leverage on the profits, and high dividend payout has been seen in this year compared to earlier years. So this was basically the financial aspect of the balance sheet and profit and loss account. Now, as sir mentioned uh, in today's lecture, that we should check the annual report and figure out the operating segments that Saregama is into. And there are quite a large number of operating segments in which Saregama is currently working on, and their revenue streams are quite varied. So mainly there can be three main classifications that can be done for their revenue streams. So one is their publications, where they have a magazine called Open Magazine. Then they have their music segment, where they have generally two sources. One is your intellectual property creation and intellectual property monetization. So this is where they create the music and then they license it or retail it. So retail is through your Caravan uh, that product, and licensing is a service that they give to streaming platforms, TV broadcast, video streaming, social media, and societies. Other than that, they have video presence as well, and mostly it's in film and broadcasting. So in film, they have a film production company called Udal Films, and broadcasting, they have a Tamil channel called Sun TV. So this is mainly their operating segments. Now, in the report, they have mentioned a few outlooks on their operating segment. So they've said that the music licensing has been expected to grow by 22 to 25% despite the COVID impact, and they are trying to tap into the growing digitization and access to internet to expand their customer base. And they are using data analytics to kind of figure out what the customer wants to listen to and figure and provide that to the customer. Music retailing Caravan, they are transitioning it from one-time margin product to recurring revenue generating platform. So earlier it would be a product where it would you buy it once and it had 5,000 songs, but now with the inclusion of Wi-Fi and updates being pushed to it, they are kind of changing it from one-time margin product to a recurring revenue generation platform, where other providers other than Saregama can also provide the music. So that is also a potential revenue stream that they are checking out. Films, even the shoots have been affected by COVID, they are currently again back on track and focus on regional content. And even though they have a presence on in Hindi films, but they are currently trying to focus on their uh, regional content as well. Television shows, so they have shown a great potential from new platforms such as Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff. So that has increased their revenues, but they are also trying to launch their own web series on their platforms. So they have their own digital media. They have their own uh, platform that they are creating, where they want to greenlight a web series soon. So that was mentioned there. Publications, on the other hand, is the only loss-making operating segment that they currently have. This was launched back in 2009, but this couldn't scale up through the, even though there are lots of brands that are associated with this publication, but then they were not able to scale up this magazine as much as they wanted, and this is currently a loss making segment. So we'll look at that once we go ahead into the segment analysis, as Professor Taral was mentioning in his lecture today, that as per, so let's go into a little bit detail. Talking into the financials bit, so if we look at the all the segments overall, we'll see that there's a percentage change in total revenue. So revenue was increasing until, because of COVID, the revenue started falling, and the total cost was also increasing, but then the fall in the total cost is a lot more than the fall in the revenue. Hence the profit has increased quite a lot. So that is why even though there is a fall in the revenue, the profit is still increasing. A few other ratios that I came across while doing the analysis of the financials were this current ratio. So as discussed in the model that in the previous lecture, um, current ratio is supposed to be ideal, considered to be ideal if it's nearing about 2. And we can see that it has touched 2 this year, and it has been on a growing kind of curve, and it has finally touched 2, which is a very ideal situation. I also kind of plotted the current assets and current liabilities on a graph to check whether the change in the current ratio was because of a single ratio increase or decreasing, or because of both were increasing. So yeah, so both of them are increasing, and obviously current assets are increasing at a higher pace. That is why the current ratio has increased to 2. So these are all positive impacts that can be seen, and working capital would be this current asset minus current liability, and this area in between would signify the working capital. And see, we can see that the working capital has widened a lot. So we have a lot of working capital which we earlier did not have. So that is a very positive thing for a company that is trying to invest their own funds into production. And we can see that because they don't have any debts to, they do not finance their projects using debt or equity. Say they kind of use their own reserves. So that's why I think working capital, having a lot of working capital is a good sign to have. Okay, so moving on to segment reporting. So segment reporting as per Ind AS 108. So this has been newly introduced. I'm not aware if segment reporting was there in the old standard, but as per the new Ind AS 108, it introduced a concept of segment reporting where uh, broadly any segment is considered to be any kind of a revenue mod, any part of the entity, any operating segment of the entity, which generates its own revenue and also incurs its own expenses. So ideally, as per the standard, it says that at least 10% of, if it creates 10% of the cost or 10% of the revenue, you separate it out as a separate um segment. But management may decide to create multiple segments if they desire, if they so desire. So there's no 10% hard and fast rule, but yes, if it's more than 10%, they have to. But if it's, even if it's less than 10%, then they would still, they could take the decision to report that. So this would be useful to see, because sometimes what might happen is when if you see the overall revenue, um, you might not get the clear picture of where the money is really coming from. So for a company like Saregama, where they have multiple segments, so it's very important for, as an investor, to see which segment of the segment is performing better than the other. And so that's why segment reporting had been introduced. So we'll check for segment reporting. So first is the segment revenue, that is mainly the revenue that is being generated from these segments: publication, films, TV, and music. So obviously music has the majority of the thing. You can see like 44,000 I think million, I think it's million. So 44,000 million is the music industry, whereas it's 7,000 and very low for publications. So which is natural, because publication is a very low performing segment for them. So which is natural. Um, and the blue one is basically for 2020, and the green one is for 2020. Uh, sorry, the blue one is for 2021 and the green one is for 2020. So you can see there's, in all the segments, there has been a decline in the revenue. But if we move ahead to the segment results, so segment results would indicate the segment profit, so profit from each segment. There are obviously other costs that are related, that are common costs, which are not taken into consideration in this one. So after these, so if you add all these profits, they won't tally with the total profits, but there are other costs as well, so which have not been taken care of right now. But you can see an overall trend where films and TV has not shown an increase in profit, but music has shown a large increase, in almost doubling, I would say. In fact, more than double of the profit has been recorded in this year. Um, segment assets. So these are the assets that each segment has. So so your music segment can have different assets from your film segment, so film sets and all these equipments and stuff. So that will be separately shown as assets. So the assets for music is also very high. Um, and the liabilities are also significantly higher, and this has liabilities have increased this year. So that is really everything that I had for this presentation. I tried to analyze it using the usually how I would approach analysis of these kinds. But I quickly realized while I was doing this that even though I could kind of get a hang of it, but then a lot of numbers would really confuse me in interpreting that why. And the method that I was using was incorrect, because I was trying to see that, okay, so from 2018 to 2021 there has been an increase in sorry, there's been decrease in revenue, but why is there a decrease? And then I would go back to the annual report and try to figure that out. Whereas I think the approach of reading the annual report first and then coming back to the financials was a lot more helpful approach. So that was my analysis. So 1 second, I'll just stop sharing. Okay, so that was my analysis on Saregama. I hope you liked it, and please let me know if you have any queries, and thank you so much.